why is it that we hate the very idea of being alone? We fill our days with plans, surround ourselves with noise, and chase after people who'd be perfectly fine without us, all to distract ourselves from the deafening silence each night, lying in bed and realizing we don't truly have anyone but ourselves. Yet, we still convince ourselves that being with others, even if it means feeling lonely in a crowd, is better than facing that silence alone. But what if being alone doesn't always mean being lonely? What if choosing solitude isn't about losing our sense of normalcy, but opening the door to something different, something positive? We spend so much time trying to avoid that feeling of emptiness while listening to other people's narratives about connection, believing that solitude is something to hate and avoid. But that presents a subtle flaw no one talks about. The idea that we must always be with others to be whole. And that implies we can never be whole by just ourselves. The meaning of our existence seems to depend on the people we surround ourselves with. That's why being alone can be painful, but also an important choice. To face ourselves honestly and protect our peace. To reclaim our space and gain hope, rather than lose it in a struggle to keep people around. But believing that is hard, isn't it? Because the truth isn't that we hate being alone. It's that we fear it. To be afraid of something means it once hurt us. Our fear of being alone didn't come out of nowhere. Because it isn't just about the absence of people. Sometimes it's about feeling like we've been pushed outside the world everyone else belongs to. Maybe you were once excluded from a group. Maybe everyone made plans without ever letting you know. Maybe people made fun and judged you for being by yourself. It all stems from the pain of being made to feel like you don't belong anywhere. At the same time, being blamed for not belonging. These experiences, as small as they may seem to others, shaped us to think that solitude is something to be punished. And that pain, we let it guide us, unknowingly seeping into the way we act and choose people, chasing them just so we can temporarily dull the hurt. Tell me something. Are the people in your life there because you want them, or is it because you need them? There's a big difference between wanting and needing. Wanting comes from the genuine desire to connect with people, while needing serves as a purpose to fill those empty parts of ourselves. And that's what most of us go through, right? We try to join circles, sometimes even hop from one group to another, hoping to find the place where we can finally be ourselves. But eventually, we come to the realization that maybe it's not that some people don't fit with us, it's that we don't fit with anyone else. A poisonous mindset we learn to believe in, taking people's indifference as proof of our unworthiness, convincing ourselves that we are the problem. And if that's what we truly believe in, we start acting in ways that imply that our loneliness is self-induced, caused by the way we are. Then we try to fix ourselves as if we were broken from the start. Sometimes the cost of having someone by your side, maybe friends, a lover, a partner, is losing parts of ourselves to them. We tell ourselves, maybe if I'm good enough, maybe if I show them my value, those people I consider precious will stay in my life. We give, and give until there's nothing left to give, hoping they give back the same love we give them. We lose ourselves in people who don't see us the way we see them, just to feel a fraction of the warmth we give. And the most messed up part of it is that when they do give the tiniest bit of affection, a crumb of attention, we end up being satisfied and settle for less than we deserve. We were so starved of connection and kindness that we overlook the fact that sometimes our efforts and their efforts don't match up. This imbalance becomes our normal, yet we don't see what it's doing to us. How much we change so much of ourselves just so we can please them. When did we start to think that friendship is about saying and doing the right things just so the other person will tolerate you? Maybe I'm unrealistic, but to me, Friendship isn't just about having fun with one another. It's not just about the laughter and the smiles you shared with them. It's about being able to maintain that connection despite your bad side showing up. That you don't need to completely change yourself for their own convenience. And if they can't do that, if they can't value the effort you give, if you still feel lonely in a crowd, maybe, painful as it is, that connection was never truly real. Loneliness is something we're not supposed to feel around people we claim to care about. This is why there's an important distinction between being lonely and being alone. Loneliness is that crushing feeling of isolation, yet people often confuse it with simply being alone. But these two are not the same. We don't choose to be lonely, but we can choose being alone, not out of isolation, but because of our own preference and needs. In fact, the choice to be alone can teach us many things. We stop tying our worth to others' perception of us. We realize we don't need company to enjoy the things we love. And sometimes, we discover it's better to be alone than to stay with those who disrupt their peace. People who don't see you for you. That's a bitter pill to swallow. And I know not everyone can accept that uncomfortable perspective. Because when you look at your friends or your partner, all you remember are the good times. And you think, they can never hurt me. That's true. But a person doesn't need to be bad for you. In fact, most people don't even realize the effect they have on you, how they make you question your worth and your presence. It's okay to acknowledge they aren't bad people. But it's also okay to acknowledge that they don't have to be bad to protect yourself. Because sometimes, when you tried everything and communication doesn't work, it takes more strength to walk away from them. Because what matters most is your own peace. People might hate you for choosing yourself. They might feel abandoned, confused by your own withdrawal. But remember this. Your peace is sacred, and you're allowed to protect it, especially when it starts slipping away in the presence of others. You don't have to sacrifice your happiness just to comfort others. Sometimes, being alone is protecting your peace. No matter how much others may dislike solitude, it's okay to choose it, because by doing so, you honor yourself instead of forcing yourself into others' lives. That's not being lonely, that's respecting yourself. It's not easy, but sometimes you have to do it scared. And it reminds me of Ison from Frieren Beyond Journey's End. When he was facing a monster, he was afraid, but he said, "It's not a bad thing to be afraid. My fears have brought me this far." And just as Ison faced his fears, you could do the same and walk away with something more. A clearer, stronger heart. Because through all the people-pleasing, through all the fear of being lonely, being abandoned, being overlooked, that heart of yours doesn't stay broken. It grows, it learns, until one day you learn to walk alone under the scorching hot sun on a road not many people take, not out of loneliness, but out of security and the wisdom that you don't have to be a doormat just to be with other people. And when the time comes that someone wants to enter your heart, you will choose to let them in, not because you need them, but because you want them. Because you deserve to be whole with or without anyone else.